In a reaction on Thursday, Martha Johnson, PCNGI Brands and Corporate Communication Manager, say attributing the upward review of CNG prices to removal of subsidy was misleading. According to her, the recent pump price adjustment announced by certain operators are solely private sector decision and not the outcome of any government directive. But let's get more reactions now. I'm being joined in the studio by Program Director of PCNGI, Engineer Michael Oluwagbemi. Glad to have you on Business Daily.
It's nice to be here again.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Nigerians, they're reacting to the price review. What do you have to say to their reactions?
Yeah, I first and foremost, I have to say that I'm glad to be back here after the summer break. I think first and foremost, nobody likes price increases, but it's the only constant thing in any capitalist economy. We all increase in wealth. We also even a hard weight, but we want to keep prices at the same level, right? But it doesn't work like that. There's a reality of market adjustments. And I think for Nigerians, when it comes to energy, for far too long, we've been used to government control. And we have to adjust our psychology, our mentality to market-driven decisions. In this particular instance, let me put it in context. This was Abuja market that you just showed.
Absolutely.
Folks in Kaduna have been paying 560 naira for the past 1.5 years. Folks in Yola are paying about 600 naira. Folks in
standard cubic meter.
Yes. So Lafia, they are paying about 540 naira. So it's not as if there was a constant CNG price nationally. No, there was none. It's a private sector set price, based on efficiency of operation, the nearness to mother station, but of course also making sure that they adhere to the pricing template that is provided by NMDPRA that makes sure to tie it to, number one, how did you produce your CNG? CNG can be produced through several ways. CNG can be produced directly at the mother station. It can also be produced at the daughter station, pari passu vis LNG, right? So if you are transforming LNG to CNG, it's going to be more expensive. And so that's why you find out in Kaduna, in Lafia, in Yola, CNG is more expensive than, say, in Abuja, where they are directly picking up from a Jakuta to deliver in Abuja. So there's a whole lot of calculations that's behind the CNG pump price, and it is not uniform. Even in Abuja, at least I know there's one place in Abuja that is still selling below 380 naira as I speak to you, because that operator is able to provide it from his own mother station and also able to then manage the operational efficiency. So there will be competition, and every operator will be able to decide what they sell for. We don't want to go back to the era of petroleum subsidy. So first and foremost, to say federal government don't set price. There's no uniform price across Nigeria, even today. Even with the Abuja audience saying they're looking at 380, it's not all 380 in Abuja. And even in the future, it's unlikely that CNG will ever rise to the level of PMS. And that's very simple, because on MBTU basis, it's already discounted by 50% on the inland side. So there's a massive incentive that the federal government has put in place to ensure that on MBTU, that's MBTU is the energy calculation, is a unit of energy calculation. On that MBTU basis, it is discounted heavily in terms of the gas that is owned by the federal government versus the crude oil that is sold to refineries. So you will always have a massive discount. Now, today that discount stands at almost 60 to 70% at 380 versus 920 naira. A day before that here in Abuja, it was standing at almost 90% discount. So yeah, your discount is reducing from 90 to 70%. I still don't think you will go for the product that is selling at 70% more expensive. There's still a massive discount. Your choice is still to buy PMS at 920, 930, even sometimes up to 1,000 naira. Or you buy CNG at 380 naira here in Abuja. Some people in Kaduna are enjoying 540. They've been living with it. And I think for us as Nigerians, we need to understand that it's better for the market to set the price. If the market does not set the price, then the market cannot set the supply. Those long queues they complained about, As a result of the increment in prices, what will happen is that more operators will be attracted into the market. Currently, we have about 42 daughter stations across Nigeria that is not operational, completed, ready to go. But the guys that own them say, I am not able to sell at the previous price. I can sell at a better price if the market allows it. So I think, all in all, it will be for the progress. I think we just have to be patient and allow the market to work.
I think Nigerians were made to believe that they were going to get the CNG at a very lesser price than what they are.
And they are still enjoying that 70% discount.
Well, but I think some of them are actually disappointed now, given the fact that the price is also moving. Maybe not at the pace that the PMS is also moving, but there are also some questions as to whether there was subsidy on CNG, like you did say. You said the prices in Kaduna and the other part of the country were way above what we're having in Abuja. Was the Abuja centers being subsidized before now, or at what point was subsidy introduced?
There was no subsidy. What you have here is operator determined pricing. So depending on the operational efficiency that they are picking up from their mother station, they are also now determining the price at the pump. So for these operators, they have to do their own calculation. And some of them have to actually run the business for a little while to understand the economics of the operation. And that's what you're saying. They've run it now for almost a year and a half, and they are saying, okay, fine, if I adjust my pricing to 380, I'll be able to get price recovery. So it's not, federal government will never get into the business of subsidizing any energy product as far as we're concerned. We don't think it's an efficient way to spend money. At the end of the day, what we did in terms of the incentive pricing mechanism at the inlet side is to classify auto CNG as a strategic gas-based industry. As a GBI, you are in the pricing templates of natural gas that is owned by the federal government of Nigeria. Selling to these mother stations, you get to price it lower than, say, for gas you sell for power, gas you sell for industries, gas you sell for other sectors, but auto CNG enjoys a better pricing. But let's remember that even after you do the inlet pricing, there's a whole lot of things that goes into that. Once you do inlet pricing, you still need to clean the gas. Once you get inlet gas, you need to clean the gas, you need to produce the gas, the CNG and all that. And the efficiency of that will still determine what your outlet price will be. And then your retail price is a whole different equation because you need to add logistics. So people have to understand this. It's not, it's market working the way it should work, right? Like I said, there are places in Abuja that you still get maybe a discount. Some people, yes. Some companies have come out to say, look, I think Ruling Energy came about to recertify their own price, that they're going to stick to their price. And that's okay. That's market competition. And to me, that allows Nigerians to enjoy the benefits of competition. If you want to go to their own station, and maybe because of their lower price, you have longer queues, and you're willing to wait the 5-6 hours, but somebody that is selling way higher, you get in and you leave, then you are going to quantify what's the value of my time. And people will make that those choices. I think the most important thing is that we are not going to go back to the bad habits of the past. We are not going to encourage government-driven subsidy that creates corruption and then ensures that we have scarcity. So we are going to do the right things. The policy is right. From a perspective of government policy, we are doing the right things. The consumers, naturally, are disappointed anytime there's any price increase. But if you ask the same,
especially when there's no productivity in the economy.
But I think they are productive. There's a reason why somebody has the buy fuel vehicle and they will be on the line for 5 hours waiting for that fuel. And they're still on the line. I saw that even at 318 naira, they're still on the line. There's a reason why they're there. Because they're productive, because they know that once they get that, then they can, their take home, as the man mentioned, is higher. So there's a reason why they're on the line. Let's get it right. It's market working. But it's natural for citizens to be frustrated when prices increase. Because everybody wants their bank account to increase, but the prices or cost of that bank account to remain at par, right? It's normal. So these are just natural human sentiments. But ultimately, the most important thing for the Nigerian economy is, are we ensuring that people, consumers, are getting this resource? Are we ensuring that we are attracting investment? Because the demand for CNG is going up every day, right? We looked at our requests at the GACN domestic market. We started at less than 8 scuff in the month of June. Today now, this month, we are at 25. We are going to cross 40 scuff before the end of next month. So it is escalating on a month-to-month basis at about between 50 and 100%. So you can already see that the demand is rising because people are converting. And that is a success story of the president's initiative, the presidential CNG initiative, that we are attracting people to move their vehicles to the use of gas. But we also have to be conscious to make sure we are underpinning that on good policy, not on bad policy. The feel good bad policy is, oh, we are subsidizing it, oh, we are keeping the prices low artificially. What that does is you will not have investment. You will continue to queue on long lines. That's what happened in the case of NNPC, in the case of PMS and diesel, is what happened in the case of NITEL in those years when we used to subsidize fixed telephone lines. But what we did when it came to the GSM telcos is we did not subsidize them. We allowed them to raise prices. They raised prices recently, and government did not go in there and say, oh, you cannot raise your price because, no, let him recover his price. As a result, he's going to invest in the network. As a result, you're enjoying one of the cheapest data in the world here in Nigeria because we've allowed free market in that sector. And then we should be mindful that anytime we step in as government into any of these spaces and try to subsidize, what you get is lower efficiency, corruption, and of course, ultimately, scarcity. And that's what we don't want.
Indeed. But can this price review that we're seeing now, don't you think it's going to discourage people who want to convert their vehicles? We may not have seen the last of price review, of CNG price review.
No, I think what inevitably happens when the market does this is there's what we call market rebalancing, right? There's a market rebalancing. Let me put this again in context. People are already paying 540 naira for this product in Kaduna, less than 2.5 hours away from Abuja. In Lafayette, that is less than 2 hours away. People are already paying 530, 560, right? So if today any of these drivers take the vehicle to Kaduna, they are already fueling at 560 there. They know that they're enjoying a sub-market price here in Abuja before they know. If you talk to them, these drivers know.
Is it lesser in Lagos, for example?
I don't know. I'm not in Lagos market, to be honest. I get pricing intelligence, but I know prices vary widely. I know there are places even in the down south that they are selling as high as 600 naira, right? So it's not a uniform national price, and it should not be. Number one, there's a huge logistics that has to do with moving CNG from the daughter station, from the mother station to the daughter station. The quality of the road will determine the pricing at the end. If my CNG truck is on your road for 3-4 hours because your road is bad, and this is where our governors come in. So if your state, for example, has bad roads that lead to it, then your people are likely to enjoy higher CNG price. But if your state have good roads that lead into it, then your people are likely to enjoy lower CNG price. So all of these will come into consideration in price setting by the private sector. And that's what government cannot do well. And government should not be in that business.
What about regulation?
Yes,
are regulators not aware, or are they in support of this price review?
No, so...
Or is it like a unilateral decision by the private sector?
No, so what typically happens is, in the energy sector, you do not have regulated pricing from the point of view of the price. But what you have is that your pricing must reflect the regulatory template, right? So any of these operators, one of their requirements is that they must have informed their regulator, which in this case is the Nigerian Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, and they came out with a statement to that effect. Their own job is to prevent price gouging. That means you cannot be, say, a NIPCO or a AY Shafa that moves CNG directly from your mother station to Abuja, and then you start charging as if you produce LCNG, which is the more expensive option that they dispense in Kaduna, Yola, very soon Katsina and Sokoto in the next few weeks when we open in those places. You cannot now be pricing your CNG as if it is LCNG, even though both products are the same product effectively at the pump. You understand? If you do that, that is price gouging. That's when the regulator steps in, right? But if you are pricing it as CNG, and the regulator has formulas, templates in place to check, what you are doing and to prevent any kind of price gouging. If you violate that, they'll come hard on you. And they've come out to say they've reviewed what some of these operators did last week here in Abuja. But I'm very particular to say, so see, an Abuja specific thing. They had looked at it because they are picking up from Abuja, from Ajaokuta. Very soon, there will be mother stations in Abuja. Very soon, there will be mother stations in Kaduna. There will be mother stations in Kano because of the AKK pipeline. At that time, this 380 might not even be tenable. And even at that time, there will be competition. And the prices might start to go downwards. Yes, yes, it can go down. So at that time, will any of the people complaining come back and say they will give government back the money? No, it's market. There is market. When the prices of petrol from Dangote started coming down, I didn't see anybody that were complaining when it was going up, saying, government has done well. We return the money back to the treasury because government have put some money in our pockets. It doesn't work like that. In the market gives and the market takes. The way we have to look at it is that the market is better for Nigeria. And I know it is a tough mentality for us to adopt. After 30, 40 years of doing the wrong things, either in NNPC, NITEL, or NEPA. I mean, the reason why we have NEPA today is because we have this problem of subsidy. We kept subsidizing, and then at the end of the subsidy, we did not produce and we did not build infrastructure. And today we don't have power. So if we want to end up in that same situation with CNG, we can go that route. And of course, we know the result, the end result. But we've seen it already in 3 sectors. We should not test it in the 4th sector.
Exactly. But moving the price at a stretch from 230 to 380, that is over 65%.
That's a conversation.
That is huge.
That's a conversation that needs to be had by the customers with the operators. I try to tell people. It's not, the operator themselves will tell you that they've been sustaining losses for the last 1.5 years. I'm sure. They will tell you this. So do you want them to be out of business or you want them to keep doing what they're doing? Right? So they will tell you that the choice is between us raising this price, staying in business and giving you something at 70% discount, or continue to take the blow for the next 3, 4, 5 months and then shut down completely and then you don't have access. The other part of it is the opportunity cost. Like I said, there are 42 data stations ready now, ready to open doors. But they are looking at the pricing and saying, I will hold on. I want those 42 data stations to come on board immediately, to add to the current stock of 65 data stations, so that I can have about 100 and something in the next 1 month. That is the whole idea. So the market itself has a way of regulating itself, self-regulation of the market. But of course, you always need the watchdog, which here in this instance is not us. And I try to tell everybody, our work at PCNGI is to encourage all of you as much as possible to use CNG. That is my own work. My own work is adoption. Right? But I know all the time that we ask questions on pricing, but I will tell you, go and meet an NMDPRA. I will get question on supply. I will tell you, go and meet GACN and NNPC. I will get all of these interesting questions, even on regulation of a conversion. I will tell you, go and meet NADDC. We are a coordination point. But the most important thing is that our own work convert to CNG, because it is not just the cleaner, cheaper, safer, and more reliable fuel. It is the patriotic fuel. If you are not using gas, you are not using Nigeria's products.
Yeah, indeed, you know, when the rumor initially, I thought it was a rumor initially, and I did reach out to you. You talk about NMDPRA guidelines. I mean, to ensure price stability for the next 5 years. What happened to that guidelines? Are the regulators, or private sectors operators now violating that guidelines? No,
I don't think they are. If they had violated it, NMDPRA will have come out in their statement to say so. That's what I was telling you. If you look at, NMDPRA came out with his own statement, I believe on Thursday or Friday. And they were very clear that the price increases in Abuja is still very much in line with the pricing template that they have for the sector. That is to tell you that they know that a sector currently enjoying 90% discounts is not sustainable. Let me just put it like that. They are saying it was not sustainable. They know the operators were sustaining some losses, but they were doing it also for strategic reasons. Right? So, and this is what market allows you to do. And you will see that some operators move in tandem, some will say no. They still have a strategic reason to keep the old price. And that is a business decision every operator will make. We are already in conversations with operators that are going to be taking gas directly from the wellhead. That is a different incentive structure to operators that are even taking gas from mother stations that they own. Imagine a guy that owns gas on a field that's currently burning it and paying $1 per MBTU fine. That guy can sell his gas at 50 cents because he's going from paying $1 per MBTU in fine to now receiving 50 cents. If you receive 50 cents, it's better than NMPDRA's $1.58. So he can undersell someone selling at 380 naira in Abuja if his gas field is nearby. And still make profit. So let the market work, and the market will produce miracles.
The question is how long?
The market, again, in the long run, we're all dead, right? But also, we all have to understand that the market itself regulates and heals itself. You have obscene profit, if it ever occurs. You have a rushing of investors, oversupply, lower costs, dropping prices for consumers. Fantastic. You have an underinvestment, you have a run-up of price, higher costs, reduction in demand. So the market heals itself. And we as a people just have to retune our mentality from this whole idea of, oh, government this, government that. Government is only 5% of our domestic output as a country. 95% of our economy is in the hands of private sector, and we must encourage them. Look, the investment of 720 billion naira by Dangote Group is a validation of the CNG policy of the federal government of Nigeria. The investment of Boa Group, the investment of Nigerian Bottling Company, the investment of all of these partners who are saying, look, we're moving our haulage, we're moving our trucks, we're investing in daughter stations, we're coming into CNG, says we are on the right path. What we now need to do is we don't want to introduce bad policy that will stifle those investments. Because those investments is not just about lower price at the pump. It's also about jobs that are going to be created when you are building those mother stations, when you are building those daughter stations, when you are deploying those trucks, when you are enjoying lower cost even of petrol vis-a-vis the Dangote Group plan because you are using CNG trucks to move them. So the multiplier effect of good policy is much, much higher than the instantaneous benefit of bad policy.
Yeah, indeed, where I'm still concerned is the fact that the private sectors can actually wake up on any day and decided to review the price, either upward or downward, without necessarily need to consult the regulators.
Yeah, that's why it's called the free market. And on this business, a business program, that's why it's called the free market. Government don't regulate the price of your water that you drink in your house. Per barrel, you pay more for water than you pay more for crude oil. Go and check it out. Your bottle of Nestle, how much liter is in it? You pay more. But you are enjoying guaranteed good water. You are ingesting that into your body, and you don't want government to get in that business of say, Nestle, you must charge only 1 naira per 20 cl.
Are we ready for a free, 100% free?
Yes, we are ready. I think there's no
given our peculiarity.
There's no country that is more ready than Nigeria, because we've gone and we've gone through the abyss and punishment of an over-regulated economy. We've seen Nigeria is a sin. We used to live with fuel scarcity every Christmas in this country for over 20 years. It was like, growing up, to me, it was like a norm. We even by October, my dad is already buying kegs in the back of the house, and then you see people's house start going up in flames. People start dying of generator fumes. We lost a few neighbors to that. I know, right? This was norm in my own generation, but my children will not see that. They will not even understand the meaning of daddy is talking petrol for Christmas, because we've lived with the downside, people dying, generator fumes, long lines and queues, people collapsing on lines, and all of the bad things that is associated with regulated, badly subsidized economy that is centrally controlled. We've seen it globally. I mean, when Soviet Union practiced this central planning economy, we saw it led to 89, 90, the whole thing collapsed. Free market is not about free without regulation. We're only saying let individuals determine the price at which they bought their goods and the optimal price of sale. Now, if there's a legitimate complaint of gouging, we have both NMDPRA and FCCP See, which is the Federal Consumer Protection Commission that you have to deal with. So I don't think that the economy is just anybody do anyhow. Today, there's no player.
To ask for the regulatory framework for the CNG. I mean, what's the regulatory framework governing the CNG, and how robust are they?
No, the regulatory framework governing gas is actually what you're asking for, and it's very robust, right from the upstream down to the downstream. Upstream, of course, you have the NUPRC, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, that, of course, has to guide what the gas field developers and producers do. Midstream and downstream, you have NMDPRA. But market-wise, you even have GACN, and consumer protection-wise, you have our friends at FCCPC. So we as a country over the last 20 years, especially under the administration of the All Progressive Congress, we've developed robust consumer protection laws and regulation. We even saw the fines recently for data handling on the data side, where we even have a regulator in the Data Regulatory Authority within the Federal Ministry of Communication Technology. That's an outcome of progressive governance. We believe in protecting the underdog here. That is the poor Nigerian. But we also know that the poor Nigerian is better served from the perspective of income when jobs are created, because that is the best poverty alleviation program in the world. When we attract FDI or we attract investment, then that's good for the poor Nigerian because it gets jobs. So by you doing regulated pricing that is subsidized, you have created two problems. People bringing in their money into the sector, we hold back. And therefore, you do not have development and you don't have job creation. Secondly, what you also create is you have created a room for corruption. Because the government bureaucrats that has the ability to bless you with that subsidy will then start demanding for underpayments or whatever you call it, which led to the subsidy fraud in the petroleum sector. So what we have done is a very transparent incentive. Give incentives. For example, with a free kit program we did in phase one of our for the transport, we said it's for public, you are specific class, targeted program, right? And as a result of that, we can track who got it in the mass transit, and they can enjoy immediate. But then, is it really even free? You convert your cars to the use of CNG. Do you understand buying government natural gas? We pay back for the kit essentially with government revenue. So it's a win-win. So we must design smart systems that allow our people to benefit without excluding them or creating room for corruption by way of subsidy.
All right. Are we going to get to a point where the price of CNG will be competing with that of PMS?
It's impossible.
I mean, because a lot of Nigerians are already complaining. Many have even threatened to protest this new price review.
It's not. Again, I will tell them to hold on to their protest. When the price goes down, they can also then maybe activate the protest at that time. But they should hold on to their protest.
It's about when is the price going to go down?
Well,
that's the question.
I can't answer the question. The market answers it. I remember this time last year when Dangote prices were going up and everybody was shouting. But everybody
the price is more like modulating.
But there's
no stability.
Yes, that's market. When you look at market prices, what do you see? You see graph. You can only draw a graph if things are moving. It's dynamic. That's market dynamism, right? I think that it will never. Because again, like I said, if
the demand increases, the demand is on the high despite the
for the
price review.
This is the reason why I mentioned the inlet pricing, because of the inlet pricing stability, right, to auto CNG and the development, which is ongoing, it's not final. It is an ongoing development of the domestic supply market for auto CNG and our creation of that with GACN. As that develops, and you have a market-based system, it's impossible for the inlet pricing to be priced at $1.58 on MBTU basis. When crude oil is priced on MBTU basis about $4.50. Yeah, crude oil is the inlet to refineries. Natural gas is the inlet to auto CNG. Right. One is $158, the other one is $450. It's impossible.
All right. In the next few minutes, let's talk about the infrastructure and accessibility. I mean, what are the conversion centers? Where are they located? How can they be found by the consumers?
Yeah, we are seeing more and more of them established. I mean, I think the NADDC, of course, has a responsibility for regulating the conversion centers, and they continue to do a wonderful yeoman's job of making sure that we have those. More and more of our conversion centers are now private sector driven. Like I said, we've concluded more or less with the phase 1 of our conversion incentive program. We are looking forward to phase 2. We are waiting on the Federal Ministry of Finance to provide those kits, and then we'll be able to move forward. We've not received those kits yet because I guess they have some payment issues at the Federal Ministry of Finance. Once that becomes available, we'll blow the whistle on phase 2, and then we will also that. But I'm pleased that a lot of our conversion centers found business and reason to continue to exist even beyond the government program, and that's the plan. Get them going, but let them find the real private market where people like you that want to convert your vehicle can do so. And that, to me, I think is the exciting part of this. In
terms of geographical spread?
In terms of geographical spread, we are getting more and more. Like I said, Sokoto and Katsina, we should bring them on board in the next few weeks. Greenville, we're working very closely with them, and Maiduguri as well. We should be launching those sites, and there's going to be a number of we've gotten significant. Like last week, we were in Kano on Tuesday to graduate the first 400 technicians and engineers that were trained in Kano.
That's interesting.
And that should also increase the penetration of CNG in the core north. More and more, you're going to see this spread across the country. But like I said, Rome was not built in a day. You start from somewhere where you have availability to where you don't. AKK comes on board, and this is going to be catch real good fire. And I'm hoping and looking forward to the day where Nigeria also gas CNG will be making its way not just in Nigeria but in Cameroon, in Niger, in Togo, and Benin Republic.
That's a very good expansion. Let's talk about the incentive that you give to the private vehicle owners. Is it still on?
Yes, it's on. Like I said, it's still for the private vehicle owner. We plan the Credit Core Alliance, which we've already signed off. Like I said, we are waiting on the kit, so that will allow us to. We are looking to activate cooperatives across the country in different, and we're dedicating a significant part of the kits we're getting in this phase 2 to that program. And I expect that to work very, very well. What we're also doing in-house is the domestic production framework, because we need to produce these kits locally. It doesn't hoggle where we are waiting for kits in between that will be imported from Italy and India and all that stuff. Once there's a private market and there's production and manufacturing locally, then you solve for the availability problem.
What about your partnership with NERTW?
It's still on. We're doing very well with them.
How beneficial is it for both the NERTW members and, of course, you as the initiative?
Yeah, I think for them, first and foremost, NURTW is a union of road transport workers. They more than anybody else understand the pain of the poor, and they want to make sure that the poor benefits from the lower cost pricing as a result of benefiting from this incentive. So we are still on. When we go to Sokoto, when we go to Katsina, we're working with them. When Kano, they were there. The NURTW state chairman was there with us. Not just at the graduation, they were there with us for the 3 to 4 weeks of training. They had their team. They wanted to understand where those conversion technicians are going. New conversion workshops are being set up in Kano as I speak with you, being set up in Katsina as I speak with you, being set up in Sokoto as I speak with you. We are looking at Sokoto's official road transport company to convert most of its fleet to CNG. The same thing in Katsina that we're looking at. So we are working in tandem with these organizations and making sure that the benefit of Mr. President for Nigerians to get this lower cost fuel gets to the organization, and the organization is able to pass it on to the people of Nigeria. I think over time, what you will see a lot of this is about mass. It's about mass. How much investment are we able to get to the CNG sector? We've not gotten enough. People talk about the 100 billion. Calculated is less than $40 million. And at one point, we were paying 1 trillion naira a month on subsidy. So we need more money. I hope Mr. Wale is watching me. We need more money.
All right. I hope he is, and of course he will make more money available for you to succeed in this program. Thank you so much, Engineer Michael Oluwagbemi, Program Director, PCNGI. We appreciate your time on the program.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
With that is a wrap on the show today. We'll be back again tomorrow. I am Yusuf Akugo.